with zero deforestation. Indeed, I would go as far as to say that smallholders are
what NISCOPS is. So since smallholders are so key to our program, we do this in 4 landscapes or countries where we have a high density of smallholders, being in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Indonesia, and in Malaysia.
necessarily related to certification that are either helping or hindering your members' attempts to be zero deforestation?
Actually, we also provide the training for the smallholders, but actually, I think in our experience, when we go to the field, so ask them to like thinking or aware about the forest conservation, but they said that if they will ask to our they will ask to for Tasbi that what the benefit if we are protect the forest.
Yes.
So why for Tasbi is really focus on certification, because right. Today currently only certification can push the smallholders to implement the sustainability, because yes, actually we are thinking about the beyond the certification, because the certification is they have to provide money, right, to cover the cost to the certification, because and also another they also have to like ready to go to certification. But as my experience, I already a long time working with the smallholders. Yeah, but the certification, this is very important to the smallholders.
Fantastic. Thank you, Rakaya. I realized I didn't introduce myself at the beginning of the talk. My name is Matthew Spencer. Some of you know me already, Global Director of Landscapes at IDH. And I'm delighted that we're now joined by the Deputy Minister for Food and Agribusiness in Indonesia, Dr. Musa Halifa Mahmud. Welcome, Minister. It's very good to have you. I'm sorry you had to wait so long in the queue. Perhaps you could give us a feel for why you think the program that we're discussing here is working, why the Indonesian government are so interested in and supportive of the NISCOPS program, which is operating with your support in Indonesia. We just have a small issue with the microphone.
I can continue to tell a bit more about how we work together. But
if it's okay, yeah. I will come to Dr. Ramal Muslim from the Malaysia Palm Oil Board, representing the Malaysian government in this event. And perhaps I could ask you, Ramle Muslim, the same question, which is really, why is the Malaysian government involved in this program, and what makes it different from other activities that you're involved in?
I think thank you, Spencer. Good morning, everybody. So I think the most important thing is the objective for the program is quite similar with this Malaysian government, which is to assist the smallholder to improve their productivity and sustainability, and also of course the outcome is to uplift the socio-economic of the smallholder. That's the main key point that we feel that this program are very benefit to the Malaysian smallholders. In Malaysia, actually, we have various programs that moving forward to, first is to improve the productivity, and 5 program is covering the, of course, we know that, as you said, that smallholder in terms of knowledge are very, very low. So the first thing we have to improve the technical knowledge of that smallholder through the extension approaches covering the good agriculture practices, and also to do the awareness program, how important to sustain the operation of their farm using the sustainable manners. That is the most important thing. And currently, the population of smallholder in Indonesia is well aware on this the importance of sustainability. Not in terms of making money, but in terms of the demand from the outside people is actually very high. This is to the smallholders. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Dr. Muslim, I understand that through our joint work over the last few months, you've come to a new definition of deforestation for the program, and that feels some people think this is something of a breakthrough or certainly good progress. Can you say a little bit more about that?
Yeah, actually, this is something that is beyond our, because in the Malaysia, the ministry involved in the forest is actually not the Malaysian, the Ministry of Primary Industry and Commodity is actually handled by the other ministry. So
right.
in terms of the putting the definition of the deforestation in Malaysia, we have to follow the policy of the other ministry.
Yes.
So that is the difficulty in Malaysia, because somebody else is covering and jurisdiction is not in our ministry. We have to sit down together with those agency and those representative covering the forest in Malaysia. Yes.
And you've done that, and you've now come to an agreement about how you'll measure deforestation in the program. Is that right?
Yeah. We have we have in the program almost finalized the what you call this definition of deforestation for smallholders in Malaysia, and currently we're trying to what you call this to make the policy implementable, and we hope that for the future we can implement that and we can show that the definition are okay and not what you call this acceptable for the other, also for the other ministry. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. It sounds like important progress.
Yeah.
Deputy Minister, I believe your microphone is now sorted. Welcome again. Would you like to say a little bit about why the Indonesian government are involved in this program, what makes it different from other programs perhaps that you're involved in as a government on palm oil, and give us a feel for the benefits that have come from this collaboration, which I think is both with Solidaridad, IDH, and with the Dutch government?
Yeah, thank you very much, moderator. So good morning, everybody. The government of Indonesia really appreciate with what we have collaboration between Netherlands, the Kingdom of the Netherlands, and also because this is the time, because we talk about how to mitigate the climate change, and also how to our all people or stakeholders, including our smallholders, has to in line with how they implementing the their management of their plantation in the field. So we need to give them to assist our smallholder, and this scope, I think this is a very objective program and very implementing, and this is the time that we need this program, because we have to improve our smallholder in the way they do the plantation, to increase their livelihood, income, and many things. With this cooperation, it's different because I think we have the how to say IDH and also Solidaridad as implementing agency who were working in the field, and they can also make a cooperation with other private sectors and any stakeholders in the field, including local government and district government, and also some because in Indonesia we have the culture also that the people who has good name, they also have make a cooperation with them, because the people, all the people who live in that village honor this person. So we involve them in the program, make them. So this is a very how to say very good program. So I think this scope, because there's two implementing agency who work in the field. The first in Kalimantan with Solidaridad, and Aceh with North Sumatra with IDH. They both to do something different also. In Solidaridad in Kalimantan, they do cooperation with the local government and district government. It's very different because they are working with the, how to say, the people who people honor. So they're working with them,
yes,
how to improve their livelihood, and also in with IDS in North Sumatra, and they're working with different private sector and agency, and they do many things.
yes.
Yeah, I think these two make a kind of that we can replicate,
Yes.
in some, maybe this suitable with this kind of people, because we have many different ethnic, different characteristic,
Yes.
different habit. So these two agencies try to implementing different way,
Yeah.
and we can look how the improvement will happen in the field.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, that really helps bring it alive. Thank you very much. Let me get, and it also gives me a good cue to go to the representatives of the private sector that we have, Martin Huxtable, Sustainable Sourcing Director at Unilever, who is involved in some of our work in Aceh. And it'd be great to hear from you, Martin, about how a company like Unilever sees smallholders in your palm supply chain.
Thanks, Matthew. I hope you can hear me well. And
we can hear you very well.
Thank you. Good to see everybody. I think from a Unilever perspective, we absolutely believe that smallholders and indigenous people really do represent some of the most important stewards of the land in this environment, basically. I think that must commend the two countries actually that are represented here today. They've made great strides in reducing deforestation rates over time. And I think that, in fact, the successful empowerment of smallholders is absolutely going to be critical to maintaining and improving on that baseline and level of success. In fact, we believe that smallholders, when they're empowered to really use the land sustainably and apply regenerative farming practices, they really can replenish the land for their future generations, and as your subject matter talks about, improve climate adaptability. So we're all in, I would say. Unilever's expanding our strategy to include and empower more smallholders in our direct supply chains. So we're actually thinking about it in terms of how do we shift our own supply chain, for instance. So we're investing in the production of derivatives in Indonesia, for instance, through our facility at Saimangkei in North Sumatra. And a big part of that, a big point of that is really about getting closer to the origin and to the farmers, basically. And I think that for us is a key differentiator, first of all, is that it's not just talk about this, we're really serious. We are effectively and actively redesigning the shape of our supply chain to be able to get closer to the origin and to smallholder farmers. And an important piece, and I think you're indicating it, is about collaboration and partnerships. So we want to partner with the likes of, and we are partnering with the likes of PTBN and importantly also independent mills in these countries. So we're expanding our direct procurement. So it's together with our procurement teams, really directly procuring from independent mills to really build better direct relationships at ground level. Because we really believe it's important to fix the nodes and the synapse between the different players in the supply chain in order to properly connect and empower smallholder farmers, basically. Then the North Star of our programs that we're investing in is really going to be about actually ensuring that we design programs that can help farmers earn a living income. Basically. So we've already started on that journey of baselining and understanding farm diagnostics and how will farmers eventually earn and be able to earn a living income. We believe that this will be an ultimate driver of farmer resilience, climate resilience, etc. So we're in enhancing those partnerships. We're looking to build impact hubs in some of these origins. So in North Sumatra, for instance, where we have an impact hub, and around that impact hub, we're able to link up a real diversity of partnerships and partners that can support the farmers, the mills, and suppliers on the journey, basically. An example is we're actually partnering with Meridia at the moment to, I would say, quite literally put smallholder farmers on the map, so to speak. We have great partnerships, in fact, with Fortaspi here today. In fact, there's a cooperative, Udi Lestari, who we worked with for many years together in North Sumatra. And in fact, in 2020, over 600 of those smallholders were trained and passed through for certification, basically. So we really believe in this. It's important to build farmer capacity and capability. I think the message there is more collaboration, more participation. Smallholders and palm oil is here to stay. Smallholders are a very significant and important stakeholder in this, and we need to really empower and connect with them.
Thank you very much, Martin. Very impressive, as we expect and hope from Unilever. But Heske, let me return to you briefly. That's an example from a collaboration in Indonesia. Presumably, in your work in Kalimantan or in Ghana or Nigeria, you've also got private sector partnerships. Can you say a little bit about what kind of private sector appetite you are finding for this work with smallholders?
I think that's really the beauty of the program, that it's about shared responsibility. It's about shared responsibility between consuming countries and producing countries, between the smallholders themselves, but also the private sector. And this is also why we see that it works, because we have the involvement and the commitment from the governments at all levels, at national level, local levels. And we have this involvement of the private sector, who also commits to make their supply chains more sustainable. So yes, we work with, for example, Colgate and Sime Darby in also the jurisdictions where we are active in. And they are, as luckily, as we also see here during this COP26, very much committed to look for restoration and preventing deforestation and conservation of forests. And that's where smallholders come in. Because we have seen that with the big plantations, like the big companies, we have RSPO certification. We have made big progress over the last years. But now, as we've said before, we have 41% of the global supply is produced by smallholders. So we should really look into this group of people with all stakeholders involved to ensure that we work on their livelihoods, that we improve their food security, that we increase their ability to adapt to climate change in the different jurisdictions, but we also help them to mitigate and to reduce greenhouse gases by good agricultural practices on the ground, but also with this conservation activities. And that's working, and that's the only way we can do it is really together.
Very good, thank you. Perhaps I could come back to you, Martin. There are some people who are slightly concerned that despite the good intentions of the due diligence legislation coming forward at the EU level, in the UK and the US, which is clearly going to increase reporting requirements and due diligence from companies like your own, there is a risk of an unintended consequence, which is that it might make it harder for your companies to work in some of these jurisdictions, Aceh, North Sumatra, and that it might make you more risk averse. Can you give us any reassurance about that not being likely, or ways that you think you will be able to continue to apply the approach that you've just described?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think the first thing I would say is on those types of developments that we are seeing, it's really important that that bilateral partnerships, multilateral partnerships between countries happen, and that countries are really talking to each other about future development, basically. I think from a Unilever perspective, and from I hope as well, I speak on behalf of many others in the private sector, that ultimately, this is about making the right choices, doing what's right for the planet, for people, our business and our brands. And we see that these are intimately interlinked as an ecosystem effectively. So it does require strategic choices, and I think we've made those. We believe it's the right choice to actually and will actually help us to de-risk the long-term shape of our supply chain for our business if we're committed and involving smallholders in the way that we do. So we still ultimately believe that it's absolutely going to be essential and important to promote the direct inclusion and empowerment of smallholders. We also hope it's a clear choice for others because they're such an important part of the supply chain. And to be honest, by not doing this, we feel that in fact we would be opting in for an even higher long-term risk profile. So for us, it really does make business sense.
Very good, thank you. I would now like to introduce our sixth and final panelist. Kitty van der Heijden is the Director General of International Cooperation in the Dutch government. Kitty, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I hope you can hear us well. We've had some good inputs from our other panelists on the case for this unique collaboration between governments with companies and with smallholders. But as one of the originators of this collaboration, given that the Dutch government are the key consumer government sponsor, can you say a little bit about why you got involved in the first place? What makes this program special, given that as a government you must be approached by all sorts of people with good ideas, but this one stood out amongst many?
Look, I think a lot has already been said, but I think from our perspective, it's really important to recognize that the Netherlands isn't just a major consumer, but we're also a major trader of palm oil, right? I mean, 30% of EU consumption is imported through the ports of Rotterdam. So we're a consumer, we're an importer, and we're a major processor. So if any country can make a dent, I think it is us. It's also that we feel a responsibility really to, because of that high profile that we have as a government and as a trading nation, to make the sector more sustainable. And for us, one of the reasons why we really like this, it's really working with smallholders, right? Very often they fall sort of between a rock and a hard place when it comes to major certification initiatives. This is really focusing on smallholders in landscapes often beyond the reach of the major international certification efforts, but they're very important. They're also important because we see that there's not just sustainability risks in an environmental sense, but especially smallholders. We are talking about land rights disputes. We're talking about exploitation. We're talking about child labor, low wages, bad working conditions. So trying to combine both the environmental impact as well as the social and economic impact, and trying to make, through NISCOPs, a win-win, something that's good for planet, that reduces risks for private sector and for us as a consumer, but also that provides the perspective of a life in dignity for those that we aim to serve with development cooperation. Very often when we talk about palm oil, what we see is that it has a sort of a negative connotation because of biodiversity and because of climate. We see it also as a sector where there are major opportunities to enhance livelihoods, to provide that perspective for a life in dignity, if palm oil can be used as an engine for economic development. And then last, but certainly not least, I would raise 2 points why this is such an important program for us. One, it is really that very close collaboration with other governments. This is a government-to-government partnership. This isn't the Dutch program. This is our program together with, for example, Indonesia, with Malaysia, because we believe that only together we can get this to the scale required. It also brings in other partners that are essential to do this right, such as the private sector. So it's really trying to combine the variety of stakeholders needed to make a major impact. Let me stop there. There's so much more that I could say, because this is a program that's really close to my heart, a program that's really making a difference, and a program where I would like to see other donors, other private sectors. This is a program of opportunity. It has proven its worth. We can see what's happening in the field. You have committed governments trying to work this through. We need more money. to get this to a scale that we make an even bigger impact than we do right now.
Well, you predicted my next question to you, which really, what are your hopes for scaling this program? If we've got this unique collaboration between 5 governments at the moment, 4 producer, 1 consumer stroke trader, what would you hope it will be in 2 or 3 years' time?
I would. Oh, look, I'm a dreamer. I'm called a pessimist by science and an optimist by will, right? We see where climate change is heading. We know that we're quite far away from achieving the SDGs by 2030. But if we can do this right, and we focus on smallholders, and we focus on the palm oil sector, we can do something for biodiversity, something for lives and livelihoods as a motor for economic development, and something on climate change. We can do this, and this program, the NESCOPS program, was intentionally designed to be scalable. Scalable not just in terms of more landscapes that we can include, but scalable across countries and even scalable across different crops. And so trying to think of scale and trying to bring in more private sector actors, trying to bring in more governments, both sort of from the producer countries as well as from the consumer countries, and trying to find that real partnership that is needed to do this well, to make lasting, sustainable impact based on sufficient buy-in, both from governments, the smallholders, the private sector, and the consumer countries. That would be my dream. Now, if we do this right, we can scale across many more countries, we can scale across more crops, and we can scale to larger landscapes within the countries, the 4 countries that are now the focus of NESCOPS. This, I would almost say the sky is the limit. If we can get more proactive stakeholders engaged, I'm calling really on other donors to do this. We can do more with more buy-in. I'm calling on other private sector actors beyond Unilever and others to really come in, buy in. This is in your interest. It reduces your risks and it brings in many co-benefits. So what's not to like? Tell me.
Fantastic. Well, I will. We only have a few minutes left. I'd like to give the last word to the 2 other government representatives. Perhaps I could come to you, Dr. Muslim, and ask you what your hopes are for scaling this in Malaysia, and then I'll finish with an opportunity for you, Ibu Mus, to tell us what your hopes are for the growth of the program in Indonesia. But first of all, a few words from you, Dr. Muslim.
Yeah, thank you, Matthew. So we hope that this, from the program, we can, of course, we can help the smallholder to improve their productivity. That is and at the same time also improve the sustainability managing their farm. That is the two main point. And also something on the climate change, preparedness of the smallholder on the climate change. That also another important thing that we have to. But the climate change, that is the new thing that coming to the this program. So far, we only are focusing on the what you call this productivity and also the sustainability. Climate change is a very good preparedness for the smallholder to equip with these appropriate tool or technology for climate change problem. I hope from this and also from the Solidaridad and IDH that collaborated with us, we can hope that this program will be successful and can be implemented not only in the designated area or the plot area, but we can repeat the other areas. Thank you. Yep.
Thank you very much. Ibu Mus, the final word about what your hopes are for the development and possibly the growth of this program in Indonesia.
Of course, I do really hope that this program will be successful, because there is 3 main activity that they will implement it. The first is to improve the smallholder livelihood, and then the second one, how our smallholder can do adaptation on the climate change, what they will do, and also the third one is how our smallholder do climate mitigation of the climate change effort. I think these 2 agencies would like to give example to an experience to our smallholder, and we would like, and in the next in the future, other villages, because this is only 2 provinces. We have about 26 provinces grow palm oil in Indonesia. So these 2 will be the kind of the piloting or the example, and we will replicate into other provinces. And of course, in this opportunity also, I would like to invite all our consumer countries, not only for the producer country, also with the consumer country and the people who will, we cannot say that they are sacrificed, but that who will have a beban, how to say beban, burden, who will burden with this climate change mitigation is our smallholder, because they don't know what will they have to do. I just grow for my life, for my daily routine, to have access to social life, to education, and others for good life, I think. So why I have to do this, I have to do that. So this burden have to respond. We need the responsibility for all of us, for the consumer country who force our smallholder to do this, to do that. Even they don't know what. So through this program, I think we let our smallholder, let them know why this important, why they have to do adaptation, why they have to effort their climate change knowledge and anything. So I think through this program, I hope that we can enlarge with all consumer country and all private sector. We already start to do this, but we need more, because about 26 smallholders depend on this plantation. For the palm oil, I think about 15 million people. And through this program, 46,000, 23,000, it's quite small. We need more, because we have, how to say, a remote area in our country, because the plantation grow in the remote area. So which before they don't have any access for social life, education, good health, and anything. So through this plantation, now they can have education, good education, they can have good for their children. But for them, the smallholders still have the thought, the thinking is just the same, because 60% of our people still have a very basic school, only elementary school, something like that. If they have school, some of them don't have. So that's the kind of smallholder that we need, all of people who ask us to do many things, because we are government. We already do in the supervision, like we implemented mandatory that all our smallholder have to follow Indonesia sustainable palm oil, have to have certification. Through this program also, we know that they will start to let our smallholder knowing how to initiate to have ISPO certification. They help our smallholders. I think this is very in line with the government program. And also we have a kind of national action plan, how to ensure that palm oil plantation have to manage in the sustainability ways. So, and also in this program, in this our road action plan also need many activity, many action to help our smallholder, including data. And through data also, we know that through NISCOP, this NISCOP also, they have our smallholder plantation have to have the mapping, our smallholder. This is a very in line, and this program is very basically in line with us, with the government plan to improve our smallholder condition and livelihood, something like that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. Well, again, you've really brought to life both the opportunity and the challenge of supporting smallholders to create sustainable palm oil. I hope you listening online have been able to really feel that there's the sense of collaboration across governments and with the private sector on the issue of smallholder palm production. The solutions are there. We need more partnership. And if you didn't already hear it strongly from Kitty and from others on the panel, we are very open to expanding and developing this program. We're here in Glasgow where some big declarations are emerging today on protection of forests. This is the implementation end of that commitment, and it's being done in a way that really is inclusive of smallholders, so it's much more likely to be sustainable than many other approaches. So I commend it to you. I hope you've enjoyed this session, and thank you again to all the speakers, to the Minister, and to those of you online. Thank you.
Hello.
And I hope we will see you again shortly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.